Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am 7 weeks and 6 days according to me, and I will be having my follow-up ultrasound. So just to recap, I went in and had my ultrasound last week, and they only seen the gestational sac and the yolk, and I measured 6 weeks 4 days. The gestational sac and the yolk sac measured pretty much correct. It's just that there was no fetal pulse or heartbeat. So I've had a lot of anxieties this week about that, and whether today we're going to see a fetal pulse or heartbeat. I'm not sure. The doctor said that it could possibly be another miscarriage, or the baby could have been hiding. I'm not sure, but I've been quite upset all week. I've tried not to make myself upset, but unfortunately you can't control your emotions. So I've still been taking my Clexane injections and my progesterone and my steroids and all my other prenatal vitamins until he tells me otherwise. So the other thing is that I was going to do this basically all on my own, because Brad's away, and he sent me a text last night and said that work was going to send him home. So I was so excited and so relieved that today I wasn't going to be alone. So I'm picking him up from the airport this morning, and we'll have some lunch, and then after lunch have the ultrasound, and I'll update you guys then. After that, I think I'll be having a specialist appointment as well, and he will tell me more on what's going on. I haven't had another level of HCG. However, I've still had, I don't know if it's a progesterone suppositories, but my symptoms seem to ramp up even more. So I only have one suppository a day. So I was interrupted by kids, my twins that are 15, trying to get ready for school. Okay, yeah, so back to my symptoms. I've had heaps of indigestion and digestive problems, and constipation, or not going to the toilet as much in that number 2. I've had more wee breaks than I normally do. This morning I've been feeling really sick, and I thought it was hunger, but it's not. I woke up in the middle of the night extremely hungry as well. What else have I had? I think that's about it, but it seems to be a little bit more than I normally do. I'm bloated as well. So I'm hoping that's more than just the progesterone suppositories and things are going fine down there. Yeah, in my tummy, meaning. So yeah, so wish me well. I'm crossing my fingers that everything is going to go okay today, and if it doesn't, I'll be devastated. And the specialist said to me last week that if today there's no heartbeat, then I'm going in for surgery tomorrow. So tomorrow is Valentine's Day, so not a good day for me. And then next week, early next week, my son goes back into surgery. So if you've been following me, my son had a motorbike accident, and my 15-year-old dirt bike accident about over 4 months ago, and he broke his tibia and fibula, and he also had a compartment syndrome in his leg, which was very dangerous, and he could have lost his leg. Unfortunately, last week the specialist said that his back of his leg hasn't healed, his tibia bone. So they need to, on Tuesday, take bone out of his hip and put it into his leg, and put another plate at the back. So there's a plate at the front with screws in it, but they thought that that would help it all heal, but unfortunately, because of the nature of the break, it hasn't healed. So once again, this happened last time. So I actually had my miscarriage last time, And then the same week, Michael had his dirt bike accident on the Saturday. I think I went in on Tuesday and he went on a Saturday. So again, this has happened to me again, and now he's back at, well, possibly, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I don't want to keep, I want to keep my hopes up, but I don't, not that it, this doesn't make sense. So I think if not that I think bad, but I think if it's going to happen, then if it doesn't happen, I'll be, you know, I won't be as disappointed. I don't know how that works in people's minds, but I'm sure a few of you have gone, nah, it's over, and then, you know, it's fine. So, yeah, so anyway, yeah, so once again, this pattern's happened again where, you know, possibly something, I may be going in tomorrow, and then my son goes in for surgery again. So that's going to be another long recovery for him as well. So anyway, I'm glad that we're doing it together. We're both trying to recover together, or possibly not. I could be moving on forward, and this could break the cycle. So I'm rambling a bit too much now. So I will talk to you, probably if it's bad news, I won't be talking to you today. I'll probably be talking to you after everything's happened. And if everything's well, I'm actually on night shifts at the moment. So if I can get a chance during the day, I'll try and update it and upload it as soon as I can. So take care, and I hope everything is going well for you guys too. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow my journey. Thank you so much for your support. Guys, and welcome back to my channel. First off, I want to apologise to everybody. It has been, I'm not sure, I think it's been a good couple of weeks and I haven't come on here and tell you what's been going on with us, and it's been really hard couple of weeks for us again. So first off, I'll just tell you that we have miscarried again, and it was pretty hard this time. I think my last video, which I'd flicked to you at the beginning there, was I think about some issues that we had, and that we couldn't find a heartbeat, or the fetal pole wasn't big enough or something like that. I can't remember. I haven't gone back to it yet, but I have put it at the beginning. And they were going to book us in on Valentine's Day, would you believe, and I was going to be on my own, and Brad was away to have a DNC done because he could see the baby was there and that he could do testing on it. So we agreed that we would do testing, and overnight we went home to think about it, and overnight Brad was really upset about it all and couldn't understand why we were progressing really good and all our numbers were great, and that possibly, you know, if that he wanted to wait another couple of days. So we did wait 2 more days, and before I gave my specialist an answer, we went in and got a second opinion, and we got HCG level done again, and we did get another scan done. So on the Wednesday, my HCG levels were 50,000, and then we went in on the Friday and they were 66,000. So that was still rising appropriately. We went and had our scan. The scan then seen that the fetal pole was growing the millimetre a day, so it had gone from 3.3 to 5.4, still measuring behind, but there was a flicker. So, and it wasn't just one technician, it was 2 technicians that came in and seen the flicker and said, look, we're just going to try and bring the heartbeat up for you to hear, but it's so small that it's, you know, it can be really hard. And so 2 of them tried, and we all seen the visual of it, but they just couldn't bring it up. So we kind of looked at each other and thought, wow, you know, like, this is amazing, you know, to think that we're going to go and have the DNC, and then all of a sudden, you know, it had grown, and of course, you know, there's a flicker. So she said, you know, come back on Monday and make sure everything's okay. She said, your dates might be out, which I know they definitely weren't. The other explanation would be that I did ovulate twice, and I ovulated, I think I ovulated around 10 days apart. I know it seems unheard of, but the doctor also said that that was a possibility.
because I did ovulate on both sides. And then when I kind of look back on my app, I seen that when I had, like bad ovulation pains again on the right side. And yeah, anyway, so you go through the motions going, oh my gosh, maybe it's ovulated later and it's taken on the second one and not the first one, and blah, blah, blah. And the hope for the first time, rose to 100. It was like, oh my gosh, this is it, this is great. And then, over the weekend we kind of non-stop talked about it, and it was really hard not to talk about it because we couldn't believe that everything was still going, so great. So anyway, we went on the Monday. I see my specialist in the morning because he said to me, come in on the Monday and then, we'll repeat the ultrasound, we'll repeat your HCG levels. If everything's great, then we'll keep continuing, and maybe that's what's happened. If they're not, if we don't see anything extra, then there's there's our answer, and we'll book in for a D&C that afternoon. So anyway, we went in, I had my HCG levels first thing in the morning, and then I had my scan, and it was just devastating. It was, I tell you, I've cried so much that I can't cry anymore, and I think that's why I waited 2 weeks, because I just didn't want, it was just too much raw emotion for both of us. So we went in and she starts measuring, and I kind of seen straight away, I didn't see that there wasn't a flicker, but I kind of seen straight away it looked like I could see more than I did on Friday, and I was thinking, oh wow, this is just on the abdominal one. I thought, wow, is she going to pick up the flicker and da 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 da. And then she did the vaginal one, and she told me the baby actually had shrunk. So obviously over the weekend it had passed, and yeah, it was smaller, and she tried everything. She did the, I don't know, where they check blood flow. She tried several times to do the heartbeat, no heartbeat, and unfortunately, this time again, number 4, miscarriage. It was, it was pretty hard. So I had to go through that, and there's people in the waiting room, and you don't want to cry, and you don't, it's just so hard to keep all that emotion in. So we went to the doctors, and we were like, okay, well, we've accepted now that it's not meant to be, and we don't have a heartbeat now, blah blah blah. And he's like, I said, do you know what my HCG level was? And he's like, no, it hasn't come back yet. So I was still like, not that I had the hope, but I was still like, what if my HCG level is rising? Like, what is going on? So he booked me in, basically within the couple of hours, went to the private hospital, because we have a public hospital which is, free in Australia, and, for emergency surgeries and things like that. And then you can go to a private hospital, which we have private health insurance, so we chose that. Which still, you're out of pocket a lot of money if you don't have a no-gap doctor. It's very hard to explain, a whole nother story. And yeah, so within a couple of hours, he had me booked in for the surgery, rang the surgery, put an emergency in, and I think I was just leaving the office, or I was going in for my surgery, and he said, Janelle, I just wanted to let you know, he's like, your HCG levels actually dropped to 48,000. And I think that was probably my biggest relief, because I think going in there with my HCG levels still at it rising, that would be, really hard. Like, I know the baby's heartbeat's not, flickering anymore. Like, deep down it's all over. But I think if it kept rising, you're going, like, what else is going on? But it didn't. It dropped, and it gave me that guarantee, or 100%, that things weren't going right. Yeah. So at this time, backing up, Brad was away and he couldn't be there for me, and I don't know what kind of miracle he pulled, but somehow he works away in the mines, and somehow they let him home, and it was really amazing to have him there by my side. And it's hard because I don't want him to go through that emotion. It's very hard for him, and I think each time it's got a little bit harder. But yeah, it still was really hard this time, but he's always there. He's always supportive, 100%. Like, I don't know, it's just amazing. So yeah, he was there the whole process with me, as before I didn't think that he was going to be. So yeah, they sent away for testing. So they sent away for chromosomes and just to tell what we're going to have as well. And I think that when we find that out on the 18th of March, when he comes back, because he actually went on holidays a couple of days later, so he comes back on the 18th of March and he's got me booked in for that day. To find out the results is going to be truly hard. One, the sex of the baby, and was there anything wrong with it? It's not that it's going to be all that. I think it'd be hard if there's nothing wrong, but if there was a chromosome defect, it wasn't meant to be. But to find out the sex is going to be a bit hard. So that will be a very emotional day. I think just as emotional as losing the baby. So we also got testing done for both of our chromosomes. So it was about $600 each, and we didn't care. Like, we're testing the baby and he says, oh, it's going to be a cost in that, and I'm like, I don't care. We want to find out, we want to know what was wrong. And same with our chromosomes. So apparently sometimes, he doesn't think so, it's very rare, but sometimes you can have like this mutation where both of you actually clash, where you can't have babies. So no matter how many times you fall pregnant, you'll just keep miscarrying, because both of the chromosomes just won't. I don't even understand it. I'm probably even saying it wrong, but basically, the chromosomes just clash together and you can't have babies. That's just it. So either you've got to use someone else's sperm or someone else's egg, and Brad doesn't want that. He doesn't want someone else's egg or sperm. And I can kind of understand, wants his own baby, like, yeah. But then, it's very hard. Everyone shares different opinions, and that's his opinion, and I respect that. So if it comes out that there's nothing we can do, it could come out, I don't know, just something simple that one of us has, that we just need, some sort of hormone, or I don't know who has these mutations out there, and I'm sure we're not the only one. There's plenty of people, and did it help you? Did it help you fall pregnant again? I'm not sure. Or it could be just complete bad luck. And this is the thing that we were told by the first obstetrician. She was so hard. When we first seen her, we couldn't see her again. So she cost a lot of money, $300 to see. And she was just pure hard. It was just like no bedside manner. But apparently she's one of the best. So she basically said that 40% of every pregnancy we have will be a miscarriage. And that she's saying, you need to be focused, and you need to be focused on a goal. It's like, you may get pregnant the first time, be successful the first time, or the 5th time, or the 8th time. But you need to keep refocusing. Like, if you go and have a miscarriage 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th, or whatever, you need to not harden up, but basically go, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not meant to be, and it's coming. It might be the next one, it might not be the next one. So I kind of had to take it in and go, well, she's right. If we moan and groan and get upset and be depressed in every single miscarriage, then we're not going to be strong enough when we fall pregnant, because when we do, we're just going to think it's going to miscarry again, and it's just all negative, and you just can't be like that. So we're just trying to keep staying positive, going, okay, well, the next time. But there will be no next time. There will be no next time if there is a mutation between us both, like that clash he was talking about. So when I find more information out of that, I will let you know. So basically, yes, on the 18th we'll find out the sex, the chromosomes, of what happened to the baby, and we'll find out what's wrong with us. We also talked to him about IUI, so for the next time we should have an IUI, because we don't know if there's anything wrong with Brad's sperm. We know everything's kind of fine my end. But he said, he believed that he was skeptical of an IUI. He was saying, basically, and TMI, you don't have to keep watching anymore, but basically when you have sex and your partner ejaculates and goes through the vagina, that first part of the vagina and the canal, whatever, that's its wash, and then most of it collects or kills all those bad sperm. So by the time they get through that wash, it then goes into the fallopian tube, and it's mostly all the strong ones, so you don't kind of get, the bad ones. And the same with the IUI. So they go through a wash, and it's definitely not guaranteed because they've told me that before. So they go through, when you go through a wash, before you have an IUI, they go and they separate, take all the bad ones out and they leave the good ones, but they said it's not guaranteed that there will be no bad ones, because it could look fine, but chromosomally it's not. So there's no guarantee with both. So he's saying you're falling pregnant every time. So his sperm works, and, secondly, the IUI is a wash. Your body washes it naturally. Your body kills it all off, just like a wash does naturally, So yeah, I don't know what to think about that, and I don't know if any of you have had experience. I know I've had experience with it, and I know that, when I've had a wash before, they said the same thing, that it's not guaranteed that I get all the, they don't put back just all the good ones, because they're just so tiny, so you can't guarantee it without messing it up too much. So yeah, so of course we will be trying again, and we'll be trying as soon as possible. We're allowed to, because we're getting older, so our chances are decreasing every month, and time is going just super fast. Like, we're only getting 2 chances in a year to be able to fall pregnant, maybe 3 at max. But the last time, my HCG levels took ridiculous amounts of time, almost 3 months to come out of my system. And by the 10th week I went to the doctor going, I'm still saying I'm pregnant, I don't understand what's going on, and I had a D&C, and he sent me off for an ultrasound thinking I might have products of conception left, and I had an ultrasound and everything looked fine. So it's just pure bad luck that my HCG level stayed in that long. They were 44,000 when I had my D&C. They were 8 right to the 3rd month, the start of the 3rd month, or nearly the 3rd month, and they stayed 8 for 2 weeks, and then it was 4. Like, how ridiculous is that? And then another 2 weeks, and finally it went back to 0, and I had not pregnant. So very frustrating time. So because it takes that long time, we have to get the ball rolling. So we were taking, our last pregnancy, we fell pregnant. It's the furthest we've ever got, even with the embryo, and even with the flicker. And we were taking different vitamins and stuff than the other pregnancies, because the other times you think, there's nothing wrong. So the last time we were taking all sorts of different types of medication, and we also, when we fell pregnant, we went on progesterone, Clexane, and steroids. So we'll do that all again, and hope. And just so you know too, the medication we weren't on quite 3 months, and it says to give it 90 days, and I think it was almost that though, or it was dead on. So maybe I fell pregnant, and then Brad was like, well, do I need to take all this medication still, like all this, and I said, yes, absolutely. I said, keep taking it, because if anything goes wrong, we have to wait another 3 or 4 months before all that builds up again, and we can try again. So, I don't want to be negative. I said, but no, keep taking it. I'm going to keep taking all my multivitamins and everything I was taking, because it didn't harm the baby. So I'm like, I'm going to take everything I can take, and you take everything you're taking, so that if it, for God forbid, it didn't work out, we were still, we didn't have to restart again. So he had been taking it. So now he's been taking all that medication for almost 6 months. So hopefully the next time, he's had it all in his system a bit longer, and it'll be perfect, because we have never got to this far. We've never got to the flicker. So I'm hoping that medication was what we needed. It just needed that little bit longer. yeah, so we will try again. We won't try again for at least another 3 weeks because my specialist has to come back, and I want to make sure that there's no mutation, because we won't be trying again if there's no mutation. And 2, well, I have to wait for my period to come and my HCG levels to go out anyway. And it may be a bit longer because I did a test today, and I haven't got it with me, but I did a test today and it was so faint that I reckon it was probably only about 25 or 30 HCG, and I got 1 to 2 on a digital, which took ages to come up. I was so happy because at this time, which I'm 11 days past my DNC, this time last pregnancy, it was still saying 2 to 3 weeks. It was super, super, super dark. The pregnancy line was still darker than the other line, and yeah, it took a long time. So I'm hoping it's already reading probably, I'd say around 25-ish. It looks like I've taken a billion tests, trust me, over these pregnancies, and I have them all photos, and I have HCG levels with those photos. So it's, you know, yes, pee on a stick addict, can't help it. So yeah, I have got heaps more pregnancy tests, so I can keep testing until I'm 0. So I've only done 3 since I've had my DNC. So I kind of do them every 2 to 3 days, and they're dropping half each time. Like, you can see that the darkness is dropping half each time. So I'm hoping that maybe this time next week it's going to be a negative, and that'll be brilliant because, you know, to go from having the whole lot back to 0 within 3 weeks or a month, you know, is so much better than how long we waited last time. So yeah, so I'm hoping that in a month's time I will get my period as normal, and I will then see my specialist, and then we can go again. Because the last times that we miscarried, they were basically saying no time limit, go whenever you want, whenever you feel comfortable, go. And they're like, the only reason why we say to everybody to wait 1 month is because you know where you are in your cycle, because you don't, you know, when you have your DNC, you don't know really where you are in your cycle, because you don't know when your HCG levels go to 0, because once they go to 0 then you start ovulating, but I don't know when. Yeah. What else can I tell you? There's not a lot else. I'm just really, really sorry that I didn't get back to you, and I might do a live video if anyone's interested in that, and about what my specialist said. The only problem with live videos is, will I get emotional or not? You know, I'm not an extremely emotional person, but you know, the last one was very hard. So yeah, that's my update. We did miscarry at 8 weeks and 5 days, I believe, and we can only just start again. And this time, yeah, same deal. As soon as I know that I've got a negative on my tests, I will start doing more filming again of my ovulation tests and pregnancy tests after that. Pretty much every time I've done these clear blue digitals are amazing, because I basically fall pregnant every time. So as long as you are doing your clear blue digitals, I kind of use cheapies, but I don't actually. As soon as I see a little bit of a darker line, I actually use my clear blue digital. I kind of know when I'm going to ovulate anyway, so I only rely on the most expensive tests, and that's because they are good. They are good and they're reliable. So when I start getting to that point, like, I'll probably start taking, as soon as I'm negative, because I don't know where I am in my cycle, I'll just start taking the cheapy ones. And they're the only time I take the cheapy ones is when I've had a miscarriage, because I don't know where I'm up to in my cycle. And if I get like a darker line, then I will start using my digital. Otherwise, I know that when I get my period, I know when I'm going to ovulate, so I use my expensive ones, if that makes sense. So, and every time I've used my digital, those ovulation tests, I've been pregnant in that month, because because they are good, and I use I do my basal temps, you know, I do everything but, you know, by the book, everything. So I bought myself a new basal thermometer, which I might even do a video on that, and that has an app that it downloads, so it Bluetooths to the thermometer, and then when your temperature's done, it then syncs into your mobile phone and puts it in there every day. So that's a really good one, so I might do that. I'm not doing anything else different because I know that what I'm doing is making me fall pregnant. You know, I know that we're baby dancing at the right time. I'm doing my ovulation tests with the digital. I'm not mucking around with those cheapies. Yeah, I read my body signs, you know, making sure that I'm, you know, on a healthy diet, not drinking alcohol or anything like, we don't drink much alcohol anyway, but we watch, you know, if we've got any events around that time, yeah, but otherwise I might do a follow-up before the 18th. If not, I'll do a follow-up after the 18th of March, and then it kind of just depends what happens. It depends if my pregnancy tests go back to 0. I might be really excited and want to show you that, or if they go back to 0 and I start, you know, doing ovulation tests and they are coming up before I see the specialist, I might just start them. So it's really hard to tell you when I'm going to do my next video, but my next video would definitely be, you know, the one for my specialist and how it all went. So anyway, I know a few of you are also trying to conceive, and I just want to let you know that I'm watching your videos all the time, and I know we're all helping each other emotionally. We're there for each other, and you know, we get super excited when we see each other's ovulation tests, and then we see the pregnancy test, and then we go through those emotions of, you know, like, yay, she's pregnant, or oh damn it, you know, like next month's going to be her month. So the subscribers out there that are trying to conceive, also the ones who aren't, I wanted to let you know that I am watching your videos as well, and I'm praying for you just as much as you're praying for me, and I thank you for all your support. And for any new subscribers that have just come on board, you know, I'm sorry that it's a really roller coaster videos, because, you know, I'm pregnant, I'm not pregnant, I'm pregnant, I'm not pregnant, and yeah, but, you know, if you're going through the same thing, you can understand my journey as well, and what we're going through, and our frustrations and our emotions, and how we deal with those emotions. Yeah, so keep watching. I'm hoping that one day it's not going to be just the, you know, pregnancy and miscarriage. It's, you know, going to be pregnancy and updates and bump updates, and, you know, that I am so excited for. Like, you have no idea how excited we are for that bit. It's just getting over that hurdle. So yeah, and any others that are watching, if you like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and you'll see my journey from now on. Hopefully it's an awesome journey, and you'll get to see what we're going through as well. As much as, you know, if you're going through the same thing, I'll support you as well. As long as we support all each other, then we'll get through it. So that's enough babbling for today. I'm on my way into my night shift, and I will chat to you guys soon. And once again, it's Friday today. I somehow seem to do on Fridays. Have an awesome weekend, and I can't wait to see all your videos. I know that a few of them have possibly some pregnancy tests coming through in the next week, and I'm stalking you. So yeah, have a great weekend, and good luck for everyone. Okay, bye.